The Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel 4. Released in Japan in 2018 and worldwide in 2020, with PC and Switch ports in 2021, Trails of Cold Steel 4 finally closes the Rebonia arc of the Kiseki series, while also closing some storylines from the Liber and Crossbill arcs. As such, the game sports a wide variety of characters from the different games in the series. Many compare the game to something akin to the Avenger movies due to this, but expecting the full-blown action that these ones are characterized by might be taking things a little too far considering the usual pacing that the series is known to have. Let's see if this chapter in the Kiseki series manages to conclude the Cold Steel tetralogy in a fitting way. Following the events of Cold Steel 3, all hell has broken loose and now it's time for Class 7, old and new, with some help from the Crossbell and Liber heroes to set things in Erebonia right once and for all. With a setup like that, you may imagine that this will be a full-blown action kind of game, and in some parts it sure is, but following the series formula, things will for the most part move slowly while setting things up, while allowing you to take a leisurely stroll to the west side of Erebonia, completing side quests and talking with the overwhelming amount of NPCs whose stories advance during the adventure. The pacing of the story is pretty fast in the first and last chapters, as well as at the end of all of them, but the middle ones might feel a bit slow unless you are really involved with Erebonia and its characters. Speaking about characters, there is a huge amount of them available to you, however not all of them get as much attention as others, and some like Rixia are completely missing. For example, Muse and Ash get a lot more attention in this one than Kurt and Juna, with Altina being somewhere in the middle. Crossbell and Liber characters are also more like guest characters in some sections, so don't expect much story-wise from them either. This is a very Rim plus friends kind of game for the most part. It's nice to see the Erebonia arc finally go full circle, and there are also some kind of mind-blowing revelations along the way to keep you hyped for future games too, so as usual the game delivers in this regard. Surprisingly, I didn't feel so empty at the end of the game like I usually do with big games like this one, so that means they close things up pretty well. Graphics are basically the same as in Cold Steel 3. They look nice but they won't win any prizes. Serviceable plus the designs for returning characters look pretty nice. Sound-wise, the game meets the Falcom expectations and is pretty good. The music is probably the best in the arc and voice acting is pretty good when it actually happens, which is not as often as some might like since it mostly happens only during important story events. Probably the fewest changes I have seen from one game to the next. Not much new except the Lost Arts, which were also in Cold Steel 2, and some balancing done to orders and abilities to make things a bit more challenging. Orders are basically nerfed and you have to find some chests with special battles using specific characters to upgrade them to what they used to be in the past. I guess we could also consider enemies using orders that nerf you a bit as something new, but it's hardly notable enough. Not like these things make the combat less solid though. Difficulty as usual is not that hard once you learn how to manage things, but unless you are the kind that likes min-maxing everything, boss battles should at least pose a bit of a threat. If you are like that though, you'll probably find the game easy since like its predecessor it gives you the tools to break the game early on. Level design is mostly fine and the new areas are interesting enough. However, most locations are places that you have already visited in 3, which I believe is a lost opportunity since there are a lot of places that are never seen like Northumbria or Jurai. Visiting at least a couple of the places seen in Eastern Erebonia in Cold Steel 1 and 2 would also have been nice. The game is considerably long at about 100 hours, 113 in my case, maybe a bit less if you don't spend too much time talking to NPCs, but overwhelming amounts of NPC dialogue is one of the series' trademarks, so I figure most people who have gotten this far will do it quite a bit. Hardly a revolution for the series since it's pretty much the second half of Cold Steel 3, but that doesn't take away from how solid the game is. Yeah, it could be more innovative, but Rin's story closes satisfyingly, and even after such a lengthy experience, you are left wanting to play more, which is a clear sign of greatness. The only real negative I can consider is that to get the most of it you really need to be immersed in the series and have played all of them. Sure, it could be more accessible, but that would also take away the benefits of having such a big-ass interconnected series like no other in today's gaming world. This game represents the series as a whole, since although individually it might not feel like something so great, as a part of something bigger it sure is. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video and would like to see more reviews like it, please like, comment and subscribe. See you next time.